Boop, boop. Hey, good morning. I guess I can't really juggle. It's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Hope everybody's doing well. It's Saturday. It's 6:11. Been up for a while. I wanted to get coffee. So I went out to a baseball game last night for a local team and just getting some time off to have some fun, right? You work hard. What do you do fun? We've got to make sure we get out of the office. But the funny thing, it was an office party for my wife's work. So it was great because they weren't all IT people and tech people. So it was interesting watching the interaction of different type of people. And it was just fun, right? Just to get out. And this is 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. This is show number 68. And we're here to talk about Agile, Scrum, business, things like that. And share some stuff and guidance and talk maybe comments people give and give feedback and help with some things. And I'm Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach, just sharing the thoughts with you. And hope everybody's having a good morning. It is 6:10, so it's a little later than normal or 5 a.m., but it's Saturday, so I'm okay with that. I don't have to be anywhere today specifically, except though I do got to open a bank account, go meet with somebody on another business, do some website stuff, got to work on this, got to clean the house, I got a whole list. And to this weekend, I am going to write a list of what I'm going to plan out my weekend. I'm going to do a mini Agile planning session with what I need to do this weekend. So I got to lay everything down so I get it all done, so I know where I'm going to go, just like we do at work, because sometimes it helps with the week. Anyway, so the other day, left it off, and please like and subscribe us. We're on all the social medias, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, right? We're on the podcasts out there too. And if you have a podcast and you can't find 5 a.m. Mester Scrum, all one word, just let us know. And there is somebody waking up. Bye, Eddie. That's why we do 5 a.m. Mester Scrum and not 6:15 a.m. Mester Scrum. So anyway, talk about something yesterday. We talked about sprints, and I led the idea of the product owner having stuff so when the team starts finishing their backlog, right, and they will if you do it right and you don't overcommit and you get enough work for them to get done, they'll get faster. And as they do more Kaizen stuff where they improve the output of their operation, they'll get there too. One of the things, as I talked about, is having the backlog for a couple sprints out ready. Now, there are groups, and this, I love my save stuff. It's great. It's how you do it, and you get an idea what you want to do. But I like to have product owners have up to 2 sprints of grooms or refined stories or get there. Their goal when they first start out, they're lucky they have 1 sprint's worth of groom stories to get, or refined stories. And everybody's trying to stay in front of that curve a little bit. What I like to do, and I'm going to use my whiteboard a little bit, and I'm going to draw some things as I'm talking. So, and I'm going to, hey, how you doing? Shut the board. Move out of the way. So I'm going to do this in 3s, and I usually do a pie chart too. So let's say I got 3 sprints. Sprint 1, 2, and 3, right? So I got my 3 sprints. What I like, and this is the current sprint, right? So we're working in this sprint. This sprint already had its stories refined and groomed because you started it, right? So all this is all refined and in process, right? We're even done, right? So everything in here is refined or defined, either way, in process or done. Second sprint is where you're starting to do your refinement activities for the next sprint, right? This is where the product owner introduces stories and work to the team, and the team gives feedback back whether or not the story is ready by their team's definition ready to start working, right? And they size it and they do things like that. So here you're kind of working, everybody's used to this. Everybody's used to doing the refinement sessions. Your refinement, right? And depending on the system and how I do it, put a flag or something so that everybody knows that as the week progresses, I'm drawing a little pie chart, right? And the first day, how much is refined, and then maybe later in the week, the pie gets bigger and bigger until it's ready and all refined before the next sprint. What I like to do, so this way, and the reason why you do this first section of the pie, the first quarter of the pie, or your first sets of stories, and it's all should be, and it should be prioritized, right? So as you're refining these stories, the product owner should be spending their time rearranging the order or arranging the order in such a way that the stories they want done are prioritized. And usually you can do that pretty quickly. I mean, it doesn't really take much. We talk about that in our calendar episode where we say it's just like a half hour a week where they just sit there and look at the backlog and prioritize the story. So it should not be a big deal. It's a big deal when you don't do it and you wait forever to do it, and you wait for the sprint refinement session or PI planning to do any refinement. Then it becomes a big monumental task. But if you refine it every sprint and keep an eye on your backlog, you'll be fine. So the idea is that when these get in this sprint, which is where the developers are, right, in the first sprint, and they're working away, right, and as they start getting done and they finish their backlog, they're going to grab the first things in the refinement that's refined and bring them into the sprint. So there's always one or two stories in this first quadrant of the refinement process in the second sprint, or planning for the second sprint to come in. So this is where I'm talking. Hi, Ed. Good morning. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
All right. Thanks, Google. Of stuff getting done and refined. And what I like to say, and some people want to plan more, like you got to have all your stories planned out for like 6 sprints in advance and things like that. I'm not so much on to that, but I am. Let's say you get this second sprint refined and all, don't stop there. Start chipping away at the third sprint, okay? And your backlog, right? Not that I would do a lot of it, but I would start filling up this third.
Make sure you lift up weights.
Lift weights, get a workout, practice, right, Ed?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are not heavy at all.
They're not heavy at all. Gotcha.
Because these are 5 pounds and I don't even weigh 5 pounds.
They're 5-pound weights. So good. But start refining and start doing refinement and prioritization into your third sprint. So the current sprint is sprint 1. The next sprint down is sprint 2, where you're meeting with the team and doing a lot of refinement. Everything's prioritized and ready to go in case they get work done in the first sprint and they need some stories to start working on. So this is how you get back quicker, faster, better. Right now everybody's in this first sprint and that's all they're getting done. But I'm telling you, as you do this and this gets done, stuff in here is going to start going into in the earlier sprint. And then the average velocities just creep up little by little every sprint if you let your teams do this. But this is for the product owner. So the product owner has to have his stories in the next sprint prioritized, refined, because they're meeting a team. And then as they get most of the stories refined, start refining and having some meetings with some of the stories, like this first quadrant of the third sprint, with the team. So you got a good case where the team, you're refining the next sprint, plus maybe 25% to 50% of the next sprint. Now, I wouldn't go more than refining 50% max 2 sprints out. And the reason being, because one is too far out and people's brains don't, like me, I'm getting old, right? So your brains don't work as well. But developers are busy. They're doing stuff, they're calculating stuff, testers are testing stuff. They're really focused on this sprint. So making them think 3 sprints out is a waste of time. It's not lean. They won't remember what they talked about and issues they had with the stores. Maybe you definitely should. If you're in here, the team should, in the 3rd sprint, work on refining stories for, current sprint's 1, next sprint is 2, or and the 3rd sprint out is 2 sprints out. Working 2 sprints out. Remember, that's a month, right? That's a month of time away from they're actually going to do the work. So don't go crazy and try to get the 2nd sprint all refined. Maybe a quarter to 25%. But you should have a backlog, right? But now I want to talk a little bit about that backlog. I'm going to try to find a thing to erase this. So I talked about this. So you only want to refine about a quarter in that 3rd sprint. Why do you want to do that? And then we're spending the whole time on here. All right, I want to do this one more little thing on here. And the reason why, besides the fact that no one can remember anything, right? Is change, is sprint, is being able to be flexible. 2 sprints out, your backlog's going to change. I mean, you're going to get a lot of change, big change, right? Big delta change. Here in 1 sprint, it'll be a little delta, but I'm telling you, this 3rd sprint out from the current, and this is fixed because this is where you're at, with a little tiny delta, So the 1st sprint is fixed with a little tiny delta. 2nd sprint out it's not fixed yet because you're still prioritizing and you're not working in it yet. So there's no need to fix it. There's a little delta, right? And then the 3rd sprint out, there's a giant delta because you may get some rollover because if you're new, they're not getting all their work done. Once they get all the work done, there's no rollover, which is awesome. So all this delta is new stuff that you as a product owner had came up or the business came up with. And then the 3rd sprint could be a major change because, you might get some new work or do a focus group that says your company's going to make some money, but you need to make some changes. Or the stuff you did a couple sprints, it's getting out in the focus groups, and now you're getting some feedback on they liked it, didn't like it, whatever, and you need to make some changes to your site. So don't go more than 3 out. Maybe 25% of the stories 2 sprints out should be groomed. And the other reason why you do this, because as your teams get better, you're going to have to groom more stories. So it's nice to figure out what that percentage is. I'm anticipating what level of velocity you do in this 1st sprint within 6 months or 6 months. Yeah, even 6 months. You're actually doing the same amount of work that you have in that 2nd sprint. So the amount of work you're doing in this 1st sprint, if you do Scrum correctly, you're going to do everything that's in the 2nd sprint now too. All this work that you have in these 2, it's all going to be 1 sprint's worth of work. And we'll talk about that later in another episode, how to deal with that. But you're going to be doing this much work. And everybody's probably looking at me like, what are you talking about? Right now you're doing this much work, right? You're doing so many specs. And I'm going to say in the current sprint, you're doing this much work. Right, and in the 2nd sprint, you groomed another doubling of that much work. Sooner or later, all this work that's in the 1st and 2nd sprint is going to be done in 1 sprint. So what I'm getting you ready for is having all this work refined for 1 sprint. Sooner or later, this is how much work you're going to do. Right now, new teams, they're doing 1 sprint's worth of work. If they never had any growth sprint, but they do Scrum correctly, they're going to be doing all this work.
That's how much she is.
Thanks, Ed. Oh, I see that. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to do all that work. So this is getting your team and yourself ready for that. And then there's this delta for the quarter, right? So you're going to be doing that. And again, don't change a lot of stuff because don't refine a lot of this because you're going to be reviewing it. So this is why I say you want to get 2 sprints out worth of work backlog always ready to go. you as a product owner, working with the team, you're only doing that. We'll do another episode why. I'll write another thing for product owners on why also you don't want to do too crazy on the backlog, right, and refine stuff. There's one more episode. I'll do that tomorrow on that one. Now I just want to let everybody know I am going to be doing. I get to do an international virtual summit for Agile sales and marketing in November, and I'll put some posts up with everybody. So, in anticipation for that, what I'm going to put out as part of part 2 on these discussions is more, and my topic is how to be an Agile leader. So I'm going to put some stuff out in every one of these episodes between now and then about Agile leadership, just for practice, prep, go through some materials, maybe get some feedback from everybody watching and everything like that. So I'm going to put some stuff on Agile leadership. So one thing, I'm going to give a small thing because we're kind of over time, and this is 5am Mester Scrum. Please like and subscribe. And I don't know, Eddie, where's our little thumbs up finger thingy? I don't know. Wife cleaned up, took the thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up, right? Tweak the bell. Bell's cool because it shows up on your phone every day when we go live. And it's 5am Mester Scrum. Okay, thanks, Ed.
To get out of the screen.
Okay, Ed.
And then you find it.
Okay, cool. Actually, I see it. So it's 5am Mester Scrum. Please like and subscribe, share us. We're on LinkedIn. We're on social media, on Facebook. We're on Instagram, YouTube, right? And from a business standpoint, I'm going to just give a little leadership thing. Scheduling. We ask our teams not to be fully committed in the sprint. Like, we don't want you to be at 80%. There's always little pieces of changes that come in we need your help with. A bug, something came up, a customer wanted something, or we got feedback from a focus group that need to be addressed, right? It's true, right? It's not true. I mean, it's not false. So we always ask them. So as an Agile leader, how many people have their calendars totally booked where you want to make time, or your employee wants to make time with you, or a sales staff, but your calendar is completely booked with stuff? Don't reserve. I see some of the answers for some people. They'll reserve an hour or two in their schedule and they'll actually put something in their calendar. Don't do that. Physically have empty space in your calendar. Do not volunteer. And we'll talk more about Agile. But in Agile leadership, you need to have some space in your calendar to address things that aren't planned. Just like we ask our employees, who are developers and testers and the teams and the Scrum Masters, to have some space for unplanned work. We need to have, as Agile leadership, space in our calendars for unplanned work. And we need to make sure we're available. So that's my little a small little Agile leadership thing that I see. And we'll talk about what is the meaning to be Agile and a leader in the Agile world as I develop my content for that presentation. I'll bring some more stuff in here. But the big one little thing, just a little type of improvement. Again, don't fill your calendar up with stuff. Don't volunteer for everything. Purposely leave some room so you as an Agile leader has room for your Scrum Masters, your tech leads, your tech people, your testers. If you're in training for your RTEs, there should be space in there for your calendar for if they want to come in and meet with you, that you have space. So a couple days out, like your sprint, right? You should look at sprint. There should always be open space in there for things for people to meet with you on, right? I know a lot of people, and sometimes you have to learn as an Agile leader to say no. And we'll talk a lot about that as an Agile leader. You have to be the one who takes the hit. Sorry, it's part of being leadership. You're at the spear. You're the first one in the block. So we'll talk about that too. Anyway, we're way over time. It's almost 20 minutes. Super long. 5am Mester Scrum. Go out and have some fun today. Play some ball. Looks like the cat ate my boy's fluffy baseball. Cat took it. Have some fun today. And remember, we do this work. We want to have some fun. Try to get out there, relax. We work hard. doing a lot of stuff, and all those people who are doing releases over the weekend, hey, more power to you. All right, take care. Happy Scrumming. See you tomorrow, Sunday, for more 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. And you all have a great. Don't get sad. Right, that's what Eddie says. Don't get sad. Enjoy your day. Bye. Happy weekend. Take care. And see